For several years, the Beast has been living a hermit-like existence using only a few rooms of his enormous castle. His servants have kept busy looking after the Beast and his castle by keeping everything clean and tidy. That is, except for the West Wing. The Beast will battle invading creatures, fend off angry forest animals, and protect the castle from attacking villagers. Belle will wander through mazes, unlock the secrets of the Forbidden West Wing, and race on Philippi to save the Beast. Beauty and the Beast have two games that were released for the Sega Genesis in 1993. Supposedly, the first is Roar of the Beast, which was targeted for boys, and the other is Belle's Quest, which was targeted for girls. Both games are very similar in terms of their style and appearance, but what about the gameplay? As I expected, they are vastly different. Roar of the Beast has a focus on combat as you'll be fighting for most of the game. This is definitely the harder of the two, and it can become an infuriating experience if it's your first time playing. Belle's Quest has a focus on exploration and solving puzzles. While it does have a few difficult sections, the game is very forgiving and it's not very difficult, though it can be easy to get lost if you don't pay attention to the hints and stage layouts. I'll save my opinion on both games for the end. For now, let's go over the controls. No matter which game you're playing, you'll only need 3 buttons. Let's go over Roar of the Beast first. The controls are A, which is attack, B is jump, and C is roar. The Beast can move around while standing, or he can go on all fours by pressing down to move faster. How high he jumps depends on if you tap or hold the B button. As for attacking, he can swipe by pressing A, perform a strong swipe by holding A, pounce by pressing A during a jump, and he can bite by pressing A while crawling. The pounce and strong swipe can defeat the tougher normal enemies in one hit, but when it comes to bosses, all attacks will deal the same amount of damage. As for Belle's Quest, the controls are A, which is duck, B is jump, and C is special. The special button is used to interact with people and objects or to pick up items. The reason A is for ducking is because you have to press down in certain places in order to enter a new area. You can imagine how awkward it would have been if you were trying to dodge enemies and you ended up entering a different area instead. Now you got a decent idea on how the game works, but it's best if I gave more insight during the long play. If you want a full in-depth guide that goes over these games in full, you can check out the links in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, and welcome to my long play of Roar of the Beast and Belle's Quest for the Sega Genesis. For this long play, I will be combining both games, and I did try my best to order the stages in a way that is relevant to the story. So the game will start with Roar of the Beast, and then it'll go from Belle's Quest, and it will switch back and forth, and so on. So, for Roar of the Beast, I won't talk as much because there's not too much to explain other than like how enemy spawns work and just the game itself. But since Belle's Quest has more of an emphasis on going through mazes and like solving puzzles, that one I'll talk a bit more on. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the game. The controls look good. I am commentating over a run I already did, and Roar of the Beast in particular was recorded on a Model 2 Genesis using a wait, hold up story. Oh boy, didn't think I'd start that fast. Deep in the dark woods, the Beast lives out his cursed existence alone, except for his loyal servants, who also suffer from the witch's enchantment. Suddenly, a terrible storm hits the castle, and some animals from the nearby woods become enchanted as well. The Beast rushes to the West Wing to protect the magic rose from the enchanted creatures. So, this is the first stage of Roar of the Beast. This run was recorded on a Model 2 Genesis using an HDMI converter, so if it looks awful, then you know why. Thankfully, Belle's Quest, I finally got the Mega SG working, so when you see that game, it will look much more stable, and I guess better in that way. So, Roar of the Beast. As you can tell, it has a focus on combat. I'm sure I mentioned that in the intro already. The jab is really good, even though it's not very strong. As you can see, that bear, it took more than one hit to defeat. If you use a strong swipe on the bear, it will defeat it in one hit, but if you try to swipe it normally, it'll take like 4 hits. There's already a lot going on. I recently just grabbed a blueberry that turns you invincible for a bit. And yeah, Roar of the Beast, you want to have as much patience as possible. The reason being is because there are a lot of enemies and obstacles in this game, and it's very easy to take damage due to how big the Beast is. Thankfully, I have played this game a lot, so I already knew most of the spawn points and like where they're coming from. so I have an idea how it works, but if it's your first time playing, it's very easy to take damage if you try to rush it. In fact, I think during this run, I did take plenty of hits. There was only like one fatal mistake I made, but that happens way later, so we won't get into that yet. Now, I don't think I completely mentioned how the roar works in the intro, but pretty much when you roar, it will stun all enemies on screen, and it will make you temporarily invincible. You might see that happen later in this stage. And the roar, you can't use it into the stun lasts longer than you becoming invincible, so you can't roar again until the enemies are out of the stun state. So you see that happen in a bit. These stages, by the way, are very long. That's what makes this game very difficult, because it's easy to take damage, and since going to a new area acts as a checkpoint, like you just end up starting all over if you like lose a life. So it's very important you hold on to your health, because see right here, I use a roar. I'm gonna jab him, strong swipe. Yeah, there we go, beautiful. That was the first area. Well done, beast. But this is still the first level. There's more to this. Now coming up is the boss fight, but before that, you want to go on this table and just slowly make your way to the right. Just jab the enemies on the way. And above will be a golden apple. This will give you a 1-up, so you won't see it unless you jump in this area. So yep, there it is. So I'm gonna grab that real quick. And now for the first boss fight. So I know for sure I mentioned in the introduction that when it comes to bosses, your stronger attacks like the strong swipe or like the pounce you do midair, they don't do any more damage than just your fast swipe. So for bosses, you always, unless like the boss is like weak to like pouncing or whatever, where like, oh, it's better to jump on them because they can barely hit you, you always want to use your fast swipe. It's like the best attack in the game. The range is better than it looks. It can deal with flying enemies even when they swoop in at you. You'll see that a lot in the next level for Roar of the Beast. But yeah, this attack right here is very fast and it's incredibly useful. So you see me jab the bear a few times. I did take a hit, but that's fine. And pretty much like, yeah, this game you just want to be very patient. This is why there's not too much to talk about, because really it's just like, it's a lot of, I want to say memorization, but you don't need it as much until like the very last level for this game, where like it's, I want to say it's near mandatory, but there are ways to get around it without having to memorize everything. Which you will see that later too, because the last level I did kind of struggle with. And yes, that was the first boss. I should have mentioned the strategy for the first boss. Really, he walks back and forth, and after he attacks, and once he stops after attacking, that's when you want to go in for a jab or two and then walk away. Alright, this level, plenty of bats, plenty of boars that will charge in. Your jab or your pounce is very useful for this, but you don't want to jump too much because bats will spawn, and you could barely see it up there, but that's negative energy. It's an item that actually lowers your health, I think I don't think it's by a full mirror, but it does lower your health. You do not want to grab it pretty much, it's a trap. So yeah, for this stage, just take your time, jab I keep saying jab, the manual calls it a swipe, but to me it looks like a jab. But yeah, just keep swiping the boars, and I think there's only one snake in the stage, I could be wrong. And soon enough, you'll be at this level's main boss. I grabbed an invisibility item and I went straight into crawling, because if you do this, you can actually get to the end without having to attack anything. If you stand, since crawling is faster than standing, you won't make it to the end. You might as well just hit the enemies on your way. So that's why I crawled at the end there. Now, this boss, very easy. When he stops moving, that's your chance to hit him. It only takes 8 hits to defeat. And he will, if you let him get close to the rose, he will ram into the table, but it still takes a few tables for it to actually fall down, so you have plenty of time to defeat this boss. So after you beat this stage, you get a mini game. Pretty much you gotta fix a jigsaw puzzle of some sorts. You use the buttons to rotate the pieces up, down, left, and right, and then you press A to place it there. And if you do it in time, you get to continue. I'm not gonna need it, of course, but it is a thing you can do. Now, Belle's quest. Let's get into the story. Belle loves France, with its wondrous mountains and rolling rivers. But she longs for more than the provincial life of the village. Only her love for her father and the magical world of books keeps her content. Belle makes frequent trips to the village and always stops at her favorite place, the bookshop. So I haven't seen the movie in quite some time. I'll probably, I don't know if I actually add scenes to this long play. I'm sure I will. But yeah, this is Belle's quest. Again, much more easier than Roar of the Beast. Yeah, but first off, you start with more lives and you have more, you have a bigger health bar, which is represented by books. The birds at the beginning can hit you, so that's why I ducked under them. And in this part, you can actually like talk to the people. Hey Gaston, here she is. Alright, here's this dude. Belle, you're the luckiest girl in the whole world. I am. Why is that? Because you get to marry me. That's why. I do. Yes, and I even make it official, Belle. Will you marry me?
There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old bread and rolls to sell.
No, I couldn't. I just don't deserve you. So, Gaston and Lifu will pop up every now and then. Nothing bad really happens if they keep bothering you, but if you want to hide from them, you can do that by pressing up around these doors, and that will avoid the conversation altogether. You don't have to do it, it just wastes time. I was hoping my sheep might get a drink from the fountain. There's no water though. That's my best impression of a sheep. Yeah, even the sheep has good animation, if you saw it walking earlier in this stage. But yeah, this game, both games look really beautiful in terms of like animation. I really love how these games look. Just her walk cycle alone looks really well animated. It's a really good looking game in my opinion, at least for the time. So for Belle's quest in the first level, the first thing we're gonna do is keep going to the right and enter the bookshop. Why? Hello, Belle. Hello, that sure is a beautiful looking storybook in your front window. I've only been saving that one for you, Belle, but I was wondering if you would do me a favor first. I'd be happy to. Well, I need someone to catalog all of these books. And now we'll enter a minigame. You should know that my book cataloging skills are legendary. So the way this minigame works is you can press down and up to switch the shelf, and you just have to collect these books. If you miss too many books, the minigame will end early. Now the whole point is you want to put the same colored books in a row and you get more points. You can see I'm putting the red books on top, and if I don't see it, then I go back to the bottom shelf. The problem with this minigame is the colors of these books are random, so you won't always get the same colored book you want. You'd have to get really lucky. But still a pretty decent attempt, 1,000 points. I've gotten much more before, but you'll have to do. And you can attempt this minigame as many times as you want, but I don't think getting score actually gives you any extra lives. Oh, Gaston is so dreamy. Yeah, right. But here, just keep moving to the right. And I actually tried to talk to the dude in the. Well, I said, yeah, I just had to hide right there. But yeah, you can just avoid him by doing that. What a pain in the neck. Yeah, the criminal. So keep going to the right, and the first objective is to find a rock blocking your path. It's all the way to the right, so you just have to keep walking there. Gotta try to dodge some of these birds. Similar to Roar of the Beast, your health does not recover between stages, except for a few. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, your health will not recover. There is mud on the floor, but like it will just sink you in a bit. You can just jump out. And yeah, just keep walking to the right, and there's the rock. Now, when you touch this rock, you actually get 1,000 points, and you hear a sound. Now, what you have to do from here is walk all the way back, and then you want to talk to Gaston, give him the right responses, and he'll help you move the rock. Alright, so here he is. Oh, hello, Belle. You want to pick response 2? Good day, Gaston. So you've come to your senses, And from here you want to pick response 3. Actually, I was wondering if you could help me. Really? Is it my charm you need? My muscle? Or both? And now you want to pick response 1. You see, there's a huge boulder blocking the stream. On second thought, never mind. It really looks heavy and I wouldn't want you to bruise anything. Thank you for your concern, Belle, but don't worry. Nothing could bruise this ego. It's probably just some little pebble, Gaston. Pebble or boulder, there's nothing I can't move, and I'll prove it to you. Come on! And now we will instantly teleport to where the rock is, and he'll push for us to create a path. So after this rock is pushed, the water will start going up, which releases some platforming when you go to the left. But first you want to jump to the right. If you fall in that puddle, you will lose a life. Pick up this book with C, it will restore your health to full. I don't know if you have to pick it up in order to progress, but I just picked it up anyways, why not? So now you want to go to the left. Coming up is it's kind of difficult, it's possible to lose a life here. But what you want to do is just keep jumping, like don't stop. Even if it sinks down, just keep going and you should be fine. If you hesitate, most likely you're just going to fall in and lose a life. And it actually does start you back at the right side of the stage, so you have to do that part. And yeah, for the rest of the stage, all you gotta do is walk to the left and you're done. Alright, so coming up is the end of the stage. I think I talked to this dude real quick. Gaston really took care of that boulder. I mean, I guess. And this is an important hint. I was lost in the woods yesterday. I finally got out by traveling north every time I saw a yellow rose, east every time I saw a white rose, and northwest every time I saw a red rose. That is a very important hit for the next stage. If you don't know this, you're going to be stuck in the next stage for quite a while, unless you're really lucky. So remember that. So for white rose, it's east, which means to the right. Yellow rose is north, which means up. And red roses means northwest, which means up left. So you go to the left and then you go up. So that'll be a very important hit later. And yeah, coming up is the forest maze. Belle returns home to find that her father, Maurice, has left for the fair with his wood-chopping invention. When Philippe returns alone, Belle realizes that something terrible must have happened. Belle rides Philippe into the woods to find her father. But when Philippe is spooked and throws Belle off, she finds herself alone in the dangerous woods. And now it's time for the forest maze. So if you remember from the villager earlier, white roses means to go right. Always ignore the blue roses, they do not exist. So we see a white rose right there, so we have to go east. So let's go to the right. And now you see a red rose, that's northeast, or I should say northwest. So you can see in the middle there's a path up and a path down, that's north and south. So let's go to the west and then go north. So that is northwest. And I should mention that the color of the flowers can be randomized when you play this, so it might be a different color when you get to this level if you do decide to play this game. So right there's the yellow flower. I'm going to dodge this plant first and then jump over it, and then I'm going to go north. And a red flower, which means northwest, as you know, that means go left and then go up. And now there's the yellow flower again, just go straight up. And soon we should be at the castle. So there's a white rose. Go to the right. And there is the castle. I think it'll always be a yellow rose at this point. So you want to jump over these enemies. There is a book at the end that will refill your health to full. I didn't need it, but I grabbed it anyways. And then go north to end the stage. Really easy if you know about the flowers. Well done, Belle. Belle happens upon a dark and gloomy castle. She knocks on a huge door. When no one answers, she enters. Cogsworth and Lumiere introduce themselves, and Belle begins to search the castle. She is shocked to find that her father has been locked in the dungeon. When a terrible beast appears, she bravely offers to take Maurice's place as his prisoner. The beast accepts her offer, releasing her father and imprisoning Belle in the castle. The beast forbids her servants to feed Belle if she refuses to dine with him, but they disobey his order. And jeez, that went by so fast. Right. So this is and again, I'm sorry for my poor English. This is a bonus game. All you have to do is just dodge the silverware, and yeah, you get points for each one you dodge. Gives you a different amount of points, like the spoon and the plates and all that. This will not, if you get hit, it won't lower your health, but after 3 hits, the minigame will end. And I think I didn't fully test it, but the amount of health you recover depends on how many objects you dodge. So if you're low on health and you pretty much want to dodge as many as you can, I'm gonna lose on purpose here, so I can move on to the next stage. And then you get a few images of the Beast's servants. I think these pictures were from the song you're pretty much hearing right now, which is Be Our Guest, if I'm right. So it's from that scene. I really need to see this movie again. It's been a while. I only seen it twice in my life, I think. But it's alright for what it is. I enjoyed it, I guess. So yeah, really easy bonus game. It's not something you have to do, but if you need some health back, then you can use it. Do it. Belle wants to explore the castle. Cogsworth and Lumiere beg her to obey the beast's order to stay out of the West Wing. But once they are gone, her curiosity gets the better of her, and she enters the West Wing. So, this is a much bigger maze than the forest maze. There's a lot of locked doors. What you want to do is pick up every key you find. You do that by pressing C, and then you can press up to enter a locked door, as long as you have a key, of course. Thankfully, after you open the door, is forever unlocked, even if you lose a life. So there will be desk, like some cabinets around, some drawers. If you just press C while near them, like right in front of them, it might have a key in it, so you always want to do that as well. So again, you see I'm picking up every key, and believe it or not, I'm actually going the wrong way, but I'm only doing this to just to prove a point in that, like, because coming up is a dark room, but you can't enter it without the torch, so I think that's where I'm going right now. And yeah, this stage it's easy as long as you take your time. You see me take a few hits here, but it's because I was like rushing it, so I wasn't dodging the enemies properly. But if you just take your time and like wait until the enemies are gone before you see, like right there, I should have jumped over that rat first before I kept going forward to like get hit by the bat. Ouch, it's so dark. I can't see. Where am I? So that is the game telling you that you're missing something. You can't enter that room until you find the torch. So I'm gonna walk all the way back to the beginning. Honestly, I should have just like showed where the torch is and like just to save time. But yeah, like the rest of this part is just me walking all the way back. And thankfully, the game gives you more than enough keys, so there's no way to get like stuck in this stage unless you're like very confused on where you're going. But like it gives you enough keys to open every door, so it's impossible to get stuck in this stage. So now we're all the way back at the beginning of the stage. Now what you should have done is start at the door on the left, and you should find a key here. I think there's a second key in that drawer to the left. Gonna find out after I jump over this rat. Yep, there is. And when you open this door, I think this is the one that has the torch. Oh, beautiful. There it is. So you want to pick up that torch, and now you want to walk back to the beginning. And again, there's still one key in hand since we picked up 2 keys here. And now you want to go back to that place. I really didn't have to do that, and probably just make this game longer than it needs to be. But I did want to at least show that, like, if you don't have the torch, then you will be unable to progress through the stage. Dare I say, beat it, because room's dark, can't see. So now we're going all the way back because we already used the keys. Don't have to open them again with I don't have to open the doors again with a key or whatnot. Like, you unlock it once and that's it. I'm pretty sure I've said that already. Now we get to go back into this room. It will no longer be dark since we have the torch. Now from here, I'm going to pick up this key, dodge these bats real quick. Alright, good. Go up this room. And I think I go to the right first. I'm going to pick up a key again. I should have waited, but that's fine because to the right is the main door we need to go to, which is the west wing. And there's a book that will restore your health to full. So, to open this door, we need the big key. And it is somewhere in this tower. But to get to the big key, we need to find a mirror. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So from that big door to the right, you want to go into the first door you see, which is to the left. Then you go up here, and here we are. We are outside the castle. Now this is, in my opinion, one of the harder parts of this game because you have to make some pretty difficult jumps. Like, it's harder than it looks. It's not like the hardest thing ever. I've played harder games, but like, I have lost lives in this stage when I first played it. Especially this jump in particular. Just barely made it. So just keep going, wait for the bats to pass by first. Go across this log, which is no problem. And soon you will bump into a dead end, but you should see a light on the bottom, just barely, so you just press down. And to the right will be an extra life and a mirror. So I'm going to dodge this bat first, pick up the mirror. Alright, good. And there is the extra life. Now, if you can see on the top right, that's the mirror pointing you in the direction you should be going. So you see it's pointing up, that means we gotta go up. And now we have to go back to these jumps again. Oh boy, my favorite. And the whole point of this mirror is that if you don't have it, the big key won't spawn at all. So you absolutely have to get this mirror in order to progress with the stage. And like, oh, okay, that's a bit, it's just a temporary setback. Get up, dust yourself off, and try again. So yeah, I did lose a life in this stage. I already mentioned that I do struggle with this part a bit. But I think that's the only life I lose in this run, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the mirror, it will point you to the direction of the big key. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot find the big key without getting this mirror. If you try to find it, it will never work. And the reason is because, like, again, the key only spawns when you get this mirror. And if you are playing this game on your own, don't, like the roses, it's random to where the big key is. So if it's not in the same location as this long play, then now you know why. So I'm gonna keep following the arrow. I did watch this, I rewatched my run a while ago, and it teleported to, like, the big key spawned very far from, like, the west wing, like where the main door is. So I had to backtrack very far. If you're lucky, unlike me, you might actually have the key, like the big key spawn right near the west wing, which is like perfect because then you just pick it up and go. But yeah, it spawned very far away, and considering I also took the wrong way, like intentionally in the beginning of the stage, I made the stage look way longer than it needs to be. But if you get the torch first and the key just spawns like much closer to the west wing, the stage isn't that long. Though it can be if you do fall down from the balcony a few times. Alright, so I actually have to open this door. I'm surprised. The reason I'm surprised is because you see that door, that locked door? There's actually one of Visa's servants in there, and if you go in there, you actually they'll pretty much kick you back to the beginning of the stage. There's about, I want to say 3 rooms like that, where like there's just a servant there, and like if they see you, you get sent back to the beginning of the stage. You don't lose a life, you just get sent back to the beginning. So you don't want to go in every locked door. You usually want to stay to the right when it comes to making progress, and you can see that during this long play, obviously. So we are very close to the west wing. We just gotta get past a few more enemies and a few more doors. go to the right. You can see that I was like ducking and jumping before entering the doors. I didn't know if like a bat or a rat would spawn, because I practiced Roar of the Beast a lot, but this game I didn't practice as much. And I guess me falling off that balcony is a good example. Alright, that's fine. The book only spawned back because I lost a life. If you didn't, then it won't be there again. And here it is, the West Wing. Finding Belle in the West Wing, the Beast flies into a furious rage, and then we're going to switch over to Roar of the Beast. Belle breaks her promise and leaves the castle. Belle is trapped in the woods, but the Beast hears her cry for help and rushes to her aid. So now, this is level 2 of Roar of the Beast. We just completed level 3 of Belle's quest. And this stage will truly test your patience because there's a few reasons. One, this level has about 3 long sections, and at the end will be the 4th section will have a boss. 2, you might notice the snow right now is blowing to the right. This will affect how far you jump, and this will be very important when it comes to platforming because in this level are plenty of platforms that will just fall immediately when you land on them. And if the wind isn't blowing in your direction, then you can still make the jumps, but it's very, very difficult, and that I highly recommend you just wait and just take your time and wait for it to blow in the direction you're going. So these stages will have a lot of bats, a lot of bear traps, and some, I think those are bears. And the next 2 sections will have wolves. They're not too bad as long as you stick to your swipes. And pretty much I've already said the most about this stage. There are some icicles you have to dodge, and there are, again, like there's a lot of platforms that can fall. Other than that, it's just a long gauntlet. I can put it that way. But if you're patient, if you take your time, and you have an idea of what's coming, then you'll be able to get through it. And I'll be back once we get up to the boss, because it's very repetitive. It's just a lot of enemies and traps. There's not really much I can say here. Now it's time for the main boss of this stage, which is the pretty much the, I guess, the wolf leader. But this stage is I should say this boss is very easy. If you can't see the pattern already, then I don't know what to say. It will jump to the middle, then jump on one of the platforms, then jump to the middle, and then jump on one of the platforms, and then jump to the middle, and then jump on one of the platforms. And all you have to do is just be at a safe distance and jab it once or twice. And you do this for the whole fight. Now, there will be some instances where like the wolf would get out of its pattern and then actually start going after you. If you get cornered, you could just use a roar to become temporarily invincible and then get out the way. And as long as you draw it, like, you know, bait the wolf back to the middle, it will like most likely go back to its like old pattern of doing the same thing over and over. That's pretty much all you have to do with this fight, and yeah, it's not that bad. After you defeat the wolf, you get a bonus stage. This stage is really easy. All you have to do is collect the petals that are falling, and you get points. And no, actually, pretty much these petals will refill your health slowly. So you just keep collecting them. It's more than enough to get your health back to max. But if you already have full health, you actually start getting points instead. So, you know, use this time to like get your health back to full. Again, you have, as long as you're moving back and forth and getting as many as you can. you have just enough, more than enough time to get your health back to full. And after this stage, I should say this bonus stage, I think it's going to go back to Belle's quest, at least in terms of plot. Yep, here it is. Belle is trapped by hungry wolves, but the beast comes to her rescue, risking his life for the sake of hers. Now, I know that was an awkward transition, but it's not as awkward as this transition. So right after that cutscene, you get to dance with the beast. Really simple stage. You just collect petals out of falling. There's no consequence to not collecting any of them. You just dance along around for a set amount of time, and the more petals you get, the more points you get. Again, really easy stage. You can't actually lose in this. And I do like the music. I don't think I mentioned the music to this game. I really love it a lot. It has been a long time since I've seen the movie, so it's hard for me to recognize all of them. But like the music in general, I guess it's because like I love the Sega Genesis a lot, so like it hits right at home for me pretty much, which is interesting because I've never really this isn't the game I grew up with. The Disney games I grew up with, which was it was Aladdin, Lion King, which was I think at the time I actually had to use cheats to beat that game. It was very difficult, I'm sure, but nowadays I can actually beat it like normally. What other Disney game I had? I had Toy Story. That was a really good one. Again, a very difficult game. Did I have any other Disney games on the Genesis? Pocahontas. Now that's a game I need to play someday. Because believe it or not, Pocahontas is my favorite, one of my, if not my favorite Disney movie. Alright, so that is the mini game. The petals have been collected, and now we're going to go back, I think, to the Beast's story. But here's Belle's first. Belle and the Beast dance in the castle's elegant ballroom. When the Beast lets Belle look into his magic mirror, she sees her weak father lost in the woods. Though it breaks his heart, the Beast allows Belle to go to her father's aid. Belle finds Maurice and takes him home to the comfort of a warm fire. Gaston has been stirring up the villagers against Maurice. When they learn that the Beast is real, the angry mob starts off for the castle. And it's around here that we go back to the Beast game. The Beast's loyal servants desperately try to think of a way to stop the oncoming villagers, I should say. The servants wait until the villagers have entered the castle, then spring their ambush. So, back to War of the Beast. This is level 3, the villagers. And what you want to do here is swipe them to your servants. There's one servant on the right and one servant to the left. If you're crawling, you can actually fling them forward, but if you're standing, you fling them backwards. And you don't need to crawl at all for the stage. It's not that hard. Just standing alone is good enough. And if you roll, you could if both the villagers get like coming from both directions and they're very close, you could use a roar to give yourself some space and like hit them for free, because they have a very long range. And while your swipe can just barely outreach theirs, if both are attacking you at the same time, then you're most likely going to take a hit. But yeah, it's a very simple stage, and it's pretty much 3 rounds of this. The rounds 2 and 3, you actually get a grape in the middle, so the game does give you some health in between these sections. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Now for another bonus game. For this one, you pretty much have to collect the treasure around the stage, and it's really interesting because it's just for points. Like, you don't have to collect all of them. Like, I don't even think you have to collect any of them. You wouldn't notice unless you've played this game before, or I should say finished it. But this is actually a decent way of, like, the game is pretty much training you for the final stage of Roar of the Beast. You wouldn't know it unless you finished it already, but the final stage is very similar to this, so you definitely want to use this bonus game to get used to moving around, like going back on all fours in order to move faster. And you're going to need to do that for the final stage, so it's a pretty interesting way. Now back to Belle's quest. Gaston locks Belle and Maurice in a woodshed, but stowaway Chip frees Belle and Maurice using Maurice's wood chopping invention. This is right after the picture of the villagers. Knowing that the beast is in danger, Belle races towards the castle on Philippi. And now we at level 4, which is the final stage for Belle's quest. Alright, so the stage, there's a bear traps on the floor and bats in your way. You can go under the bats by going forward, but what's really dangerous about the stage is the countless number of pitfalls like this one right here. So when I first played this stage, I lost a ton of lives. I think I got through it, but because believe it or not, this is one of the few stages to have checkpoints, in which if you get to, like, right here, if you lose a life here, you actually start around this area, I think. So with enough practice, you can get through this even if it's your first time. You might lose a few lives, but it's not too bad. But there are some difficult jumps. Over here would be extra life, and then you have to jump on ice and then quickly jump off it. I pretty much mashed B as fast as I can when I landed on that one. Again, another long jump. Jump on this ice. Oh, we just barely made it. Walk on this one. You don't have to jump on it. And then do 2 jumps right there. Another jump. Jeez. Then jump on that ice. It's a lot to take in. It's difficult, but you know, even if you lose, like, as long as you have plenty of lives coming. Oh wow, I did lose. Okay, I don't remember losing a life in this section. I thought it was only the castle stage. All right, so back here again. Gotta jump on this ice. As long as you have plenty of lives, you can get through it, because then you will know what you, like, messed up on and go from there. Not a bad stage, and that is we're getting close to the end of Belle's quest. There's one more stage, but I wouldn't really count it as a stage. Now, back to Roar of the Beast. Gaston sneaks into the beast's room and shoots him in the back with an arrow. Gaston and the beast battle on the castle rooftop. And now it is time for what I think is the hardest stage of both games. I'm already getting frustrated looking at this stage. I lost count on how many times I had to do this just to, like, I got used to it, like I got the hang of it, but I lost count on how many times I had to redo this stage to, like, actually get good at it. So there are a lot of hazards in this stage. It includes bats, arrows, torches, and falling rocks. The falling rocks, what you want to do is immediately jump after they fall to stop them from spawning. For the arrows, you want to punch them, swipe them so that they stop appearing. Same thing with the torches. Wait for the bats or punch them if they're in your way. This part right here, I was kind of struggling. I was getting a bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I was just trying to, like, swipe that arrow so I could stop spawning and I could time my jumps accordingly. I swipe it right there and I make a... So, something I haven't mentioned yet, just like the forest stage in the snowy forest in the Roar of the Beast, the wind affects your jump. The rain was blowing to the right and I was trying to jump to the left. Therefore, it made that jump way harder than it needed to be. Again, you can still make those jumps even if the rain is going against you, but since I wasn't very precise, I ended up falling to my death. But it's fine. I'm pretty sure in this life I actually get it right this time. I'm pretty sure I remember that, like, that happened and, like, I just, like, put my controller down for a bit because I knew what the reason was. Like, I know the stage. I can do the stage without losing a life, but really, I think I was just, like, flustered because I knew it was specifically because I got impatient. And if I just waited, I could have just got through this game without losing one life. I have done it before off camera, but, like, you know, I'm just, you know, playing these games for fun. I don't have to be too serious about doing a no-death run. So it is what it is. There are some cases where, like, I will if a game sends you, especially for games where if you lose once, it just sends you back to the beginning of the game. It's like, okay, well, I don't have a choice, but I'm getting off topic here. Which you might see me doing is I'm using short jumps to bait out certain hazards. You see me do this a lot in this stage, and I just like make certain obstacles spawn. So I think I do it right here. Yeah. So around here, oh wow, I got hit. So yeah, these 5 will spawn. I'm going to walk to the middle and like do a short jump to make that one come back and then hit it. Because if I jump up, it's going to come back again, and then like it becomes messy if I don't dodge it properly. So yeah, just take your time with this stage. You always want to like go from platform to platform, especially this part. It's about here, and you go see I'm gonna jump right here. Once that rock spawns, I just jump immediately, hit the bat, wait a bit, then jump again. And the reason why I jump kind of quick there is because like if you wait, the rock will keep spawning, but if you jump, then it will stop. There's a negative energy to the right. Don't grab it. Again, they lower your health. You're almost there. Just gotta grab some items. There's a grape there, and then some more hazards. I can't stress enough. I know I'm making this stage look easy, but it's really, really difficult. You really gotta like. Alright, one last jump. As long as the rain is blowing in your direction, you'll make it, and you'll get an extra life. Well done, Beast. You're almost done with this game. And now it's time for the final boss battle. Gaston.
No, Gaston, oh!
So what you want to do here is use the pounce attack. It's very effective. It doesn't do any more damage than your swipe, but you can get him in a pattern in this spot right here. You see me just attacking. He jumps to the left, then he jumps to the right, and just keep repeating this. Now, similar to the wolf boss in the snowy forest, after you hit him about 10 to 15 times, he would change how he acts, and he would just start going after you anyways. So be ready for that when that happens, but as long as you're using the pouncing attack, you should be good. Gaston's treachery leaves the beast dying. But Belle's love for him breaks the curse, and he is enveloped in a magical aura. And it's time for the final stage. Quickly, you want to go on all fours and look for your servants. There are 3 on the bottom and 3 on the top. There's the first, keep walking to the right, you get the second, and there will be 1 more to the right on the platform, that is the third. Now keep walking to the right, jump on this platform right here, and then jump up on the platforms to the right, and now you're on the 2nd floor. Time to get 3 more servants. As long as you make these jumps, you'll find them easily. So that's the 4th one. Keep going. Again, walk on all fours so that you have more than enough time to do this. That's the 5th. And then coming up is the last one, and that'll be the end of Roar of the Beast. Like after this stage, you'll just go straight to the credits. So instead, I'm going to switch it over to the true final stage of Belle's quest. You have won. continuing off from the ride on Philippi, Belle reaches out to the beast. But Gaston thrusts the knife into the unsuspecting beast. Belle hovers over the fallen beast and proclaims her love for him. Belle's love for the beast breaks the curse, and he is magically transformed into his human form. In love, Belle and her human prince dance together and live happily ever after. And now for one more dance in the ballroom. So, I guess now would be a good time to talk about how I feel about these two games. I'm gonna be honest. Let's start with Roar of the Beast. So, for Roar of the Beast, I was incredibly angry at the game when I first played it. I remember losing countless continues on the first stage. I didn't really have a good understanding of it, and I didn't think the game was awful. I just assumed it was just like one of the worst difficulty, like it's one of the worst starting difficulties I've experienced in a while. Like the game just holds nothing back, and I felt that it was going to take a very long time for me to beat it. And it did take some time. It took a lot of practice, definitely, but now I'm at a point where I can beat it no problem with at least like at most I'll lose a life or two, but other than that I can get through it. And after getting good at Roar of the Beast, I now think that the game's actually pretty good. I still think it's very difficult, and I don't blame someone for hating it if you know, for hating the game, because like they probably played the first level and couldn't get past it, so oh, the game's horrible and like can barely get past like the beginning of the game due to the difficulty. And that's fine, I guess. I could understand it in that way, because you know, it's Beauty and the Beast. The last thing you expect is a huge difficulty curve right at the start. But I think Roar of the Beast is alright. Yes, Belle, you have one. And that is the end of Belle's Quest. Speaking of Belle's Quest, I think Belle's Quest it's a safe game for sure. Like, really my issues with both these games is that like there's just no middle road, you know? Like, you look at Roar of the Beast and it's just an insanely difficult game. It doesn't hold anything back, like right from the get-go, like you're already losing lives and it's just very difficult. But on the other hand, you have Belle's Quest, and it has its harder moments, but as long as you're like paying attention and following the hints, it's pretty easy. Like Belle's Quest, I'm pretty sure I finished it on like my first try. I did lose plenty of lives doing so, but it was nowhere near as hard as like Roar of the Beast. But yeah, that's it for both games. I think both games are alright. I'll probably like play them again someday in the future. But I already like mastered them, so I don't see a big reason to. But for what they are, they're just like, I'd say start with Belle's Quest. It's an easier game. It's something, if you want like a chill game, just play that. I think it's alright. And if you want something really hard and does have some wonky hitboxes, then you can't play Roar of the Beast. But that was it for Roar of the Beast and Belle's Quest. I hope you enjoyed this line play, and until then, I'll see you later.